me say this, and I'm going to say it without fear or favor. If Nzeogwu was in the south, Okpara would have been dead. Orizu would have been dead. Mbadi would have been dead. If Nzeogwu was in the south, whether Lagos or Enugu, Azikiwe would not have been able to leave Nigeria in December of 1965. He would not have been able to leave if Nzeogwu had been in the south.
Excuse me, those guys, those soldiers that planned this coup, what were their motives of planning this coup? What were their motives?
To change Nigeria. Should I read? Okay.
Yeah. Who did they consider to be the president after the coup? If it were.
Hold on. So hold on. See, don't do this. Don't do this. But let me read to you the speech that Nzeogwu gave. So this is the radio broadcast by Major Chukwuma Kaduna Nzeogwu announcing Nigeria's first military coup on Radio Nigeria Kaduna on January 15, 1966. In the name of the Supreme Council of the Revolution of the Nigerian Armed Forces, I declare martial law over the northern provinces of Nigeria. The constitution is suspended and the regional government and elected assemblies are hereby dissolved. All political, cultural, tribal, and trade union activities, together with all demonstrations and unauthorized gatherings, excluding religious worship, are banned until further notice. The aim of the Revolutionary Council, this is Nzeogwu. The aim of the Revolutionary Council is to establish a strong, united, and prosperous nation, free from corruption and internal strife. Our method of achieving this is strictly military, but we have no doubt that every Nigerian will give us maximum cooperation by assisting the regime and not disturbing the peace during the slight changes that are taking place. This is no time for long speech making, so let me acquaint you with 10 proclamations. This is where it gets interesting. So all this I will always think. I will say what I want to say later. This is not the time for long speech making.
I thank God you know where.
This is not a time for long speech making, and so let me acquaint you with 10 proclamations in the extraordinary orders of the day with which the Supreme Council has promulgated. In fact, this is the part I'm going. I mean, it's very long, so I can't read everything. Let me just read another paragraph. It says here, our enemies are the political profiteers, the swindlers, the men in high and low places that seek bribes and demand 10%, those that seek to keep the country divided permanently so that they can remain in office as ministers or VIPs at least, the tribalists, the nepotists, those that make the country look big for nothing before international circles, those that have corrupted our society and put the Nigerian political calendar back by their words and deeds. Like good soldiers, we are not promising anything miraculous or spectacular, but what we do promise every law-abiding citizen is freedom from fear and all forms of oppression, freedom from general inefficiency, and freedom to live and strive in every field of human endeavor, both nationally and internationally. We promise that you will no more be ashamed to say that you are Nigerian, and so on and so forth. Not once did he mention a plan to transfer power to anything civilian. One. Number two, in 1966 January, Awolowo was in Calabar prison. Not a fly from these revolutionaries went to Calabar to release him. Not one fly went that way. Could they have said they were doing something to free Awolowo? Anybody can say anything. So let me tell you how the world works. And you know this if you are being truthful. You are judged based on your actions, not your intentions, even if you have the greatest intentions. As a matter of fact, there's a saying, the way to hell is paved with good intentions. Oh, I wanted to do this. This is the real reason. If your intention was to bring in Kini, and then you say you are against tribalists and nepotists and all those things, how about all the tribalists and nepotists that are from your ethnic group? And that's why I said, let me say this, and I'm going to say it without fear or favor. If Nzeogwu was in the south, Okpara would have been dead. Orizu would have been dead. Mbadi would have been dead. If Nzeogwu was in the south, whether Lagos or Enugu, Azikiwe would not have been able to leave Nigeria in December of 1965. He would not have been able to leave if Nzeogwu had been in the south. And that's why I say, I can celebrate that. I mean, I don't like what they did, but I understand that these young men, and they were in their 20s for crying out loud. Nzeogwu was in his 20s, he was in his late 20s. He was a young man. He wanted to change the world. He was naive. He was a revolutionary. I can accept that. Himself Adewale Ademoyega, they were just because the primary 5 of those 5, I can only speak for 2. You cannot tell me that the mastermind of the coup, by the way, Nzeogwu was not the mastermind of the coup. The speech he read in Radio Kaduna because it was in Kaduna. The capital of Nigeria was Lagos then, not Lagos State, just to say that, but it's Lagos. The person who would have been able to undo the federal capital was supposed to be Ifajuna. He was also the one who should have sent people to Enugu to do what they had to do. And guess what? Ifajuna himself went to Enugu after unaliving the prime minister. So the point is that if you are being objective, you cannot call Nzeogwu a tribalist. But if we're also being objective, you cannot look away from the tribal considerations of the coup in the east, and as it has to do with the Igbos. And guess what? Nzeogwu himself said it. My question, should I believe Nzeogwu over your emotions, or should I believe your emotions over Nzeogwu's speech?